I ran into a lot of coaches like, oh, why we got to work out? Why are we going to lift today? It's like they think about lifting, they think about lifting heavy, they think about overdoing it, when really it's just moving and loading and doing the proper things with enough volume and enough intensity that keeps these guys in peak physical condition.
Yeah.
And if you have a good strength coach, good athletic trainer, that should be symbiotic and everyone should be on the same page. But you're right, that doesn't really happen.
So my guest today is the owner and you could say the founder of Medicine, Recovery, and Performance. He is someone that has really helped me through my transition down into South Florida, and he is a fellow athletic trainer and personal trainer. Mike Petrarca, what's up, man?
Not much, man. What you doing? You good?
Good, man. Good, man. Getting through it.
Good.
We talked for was it quite a while before we got started. Just a lot to catch up on and a lot going on in the world, especially with personal training. And I mean, in general, it's been tough. I just got off the webinar too with another personal training buddy of mine up in Massachusetts, and it's like we're all going through the same thing. It's not easy, but it's a blessing, like we were talking about, to be an athletic trainer. I kind of want to dive into that quick and give everyone that insight as to, what you provide for services with MRP and kind of how you got there, why you decided to get out of athletic training like I did and go more for like the fitness realm.
Yeah, I think through my background with working in the clinics and working with professional sports, I found out that there is a lot that goes into it that you don't expect. So there's a lot of, I want to say red tape, but I want to say there's a lot of people you need to appease instead of appeasing yourself, right? So I looked into taking care of myself and making myself happy and doing my own thing. Through those learning experiences, I learned all the steps and processes and all the things that are necessary to make sure that you do the right thing for your clients and just for yourself, as far as legalities and just day-to-day operational type stuff and taking care of your clients and their needs. And from there, I decided that it'd be better that I do my own thing as opposed to letting somebody dictate what I did. And I learned that the hard way, right? So I went from in baseball, where I was reporting to my medical director, who was awesome and taught me a lot of things. Like I think I learned the most in that realm about being on my own and learning new things and new treatment techniques and so forth, to jumping into being an employee for a sports performance gym, and learning how quickly that can turn into not necessarily something good. I was let go and I was put on my ass, and I had to find out how to pick myself up. So that's where I was like, listen, I got to do my own thing and be my own person. And I jumped on with the guy that did the sports medicine outreach program things, and he gave me some opportunities. Not a lot of opportunities, but enough to kind of get me through that tough period. And I used some of my contacts and became a contractor at a gym, and watched that from kind of a back seat perspective to see how to run in some aspects and how not to run in some aspects, where I met you at Dynamic Fitness Solutions.
Yeah.
Right. So I learned the good and the bad. And I decided, and through some of my contacts, they reached out to me, and I eventually had some opportunities. So I decided to step back from the Dynamic Fitness Solutions, and they shut the doors down and right after I left, which was unfortunate. I didn't really understand how it all went down.
Yeah.
I could kind of see from their perspective, but they weren't super transparent with me. And I mean, it is what it is. And now I'm doing my own thing for the past 2 years or so. So almost closing in on 2 years.
Yeah, it's crazy
As the owner of Medicine Recovery Performance.
because I got connected to you through Jason, who you had only met a couple times.
Right.
Through the lacrosse connection, if I'm not mistaken. And then,
right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I ended up going to Dynamic after talking to you for a while. And trying to figure out, he was like, hey, I'll see if I can get you in, talk to the owner and see what. But that was a small facility. You guys weren't really looking for much more than what was going on there. And I think what you were seeing in that time of like, well, this is how it's ran, this is how it should not be ran. I think I walked in and I saw some of those things off the bat that you were, seeing as well. And you were probably already in that mindset of like, maybe I should start to find some other solutions. But we just kind of stayed connected through that, which was cool. And it's helped it. I think it's helped both of us out. It's definitely helped me. So, but what would you say, so it's just kind of like natural course of events that got you into the fitness realm. But what would you say is the best part of it for having your own clients and for being more maybe fitness oriented than necessarily like the athlete oriented part of it?
I think, to be more in the fitness or the general population oriented, I think there is a revenue avenue. The athletes, while everyone finds it like, yeah, it's great and awesome, like it's so cool, wouldn't it be great to be in a professional team? They don't necessarily, only the high end guys, but majority of them don't necessarily see spending money to do this, right? So it's all provided by the team. So they, outside of the team and what they do, they kind of do their own thing. Now there are some high-end guys that do spend some money on themselves. Everyone hears about this and Instagram and LeBron James and Tom Brady and all this nonsense. Yeah. Those are the exceptions, not the rules.
Yeah.
Right. So,
sure.
and especially in baseball, there's a lot of minor leaguers, and minor leaguers, as we all know, don't make a whole lot of cash. This is like the one percenters, these high end elite athletes that spend money on themselves and do all the, extracurricular taking care of their bodies. It's the general pop, which you have a lot more opportunity to grasp and grab that income, residual income that they've generated from starting their own business or working at a high end hedge fund or whatever it may be. There's a lot more opportunity out there, right? So you're not trying to grab at the 1%, you're grabbing at the 10%.
Yeah.
It even be less than 1%, because how many people do you know are high-end athletes?
Yeah, no.
like literally no, though. Like, personally are high-end athletes.
Maybe one. Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. And how many do people know that have residual income that have started a business or done this? Probably 15 to 20, right?
Well,
so
especially
so this is, you're reaching and grabbing at straws as opposed to reaching and grabbing at more of a pillow or a blanket, right? So you've got a lot better opportunity to create revenue and impact somebody's life.
True, because like with the athletes too, I think I always saw it as you have the opportunity to take someone who is at 93%, optimal capacity and bring them to 94,
And that's difficult to do.
Exactly. And although it can be fun because you get to freaking throw everything at that person, there's no restrictions on what you can do with those people, really. You take your average, 55-year-old, business owner who's done very well for themselves, and they know jack about health and wellness and fitness. And you're trying to get them from, inability to turn and look over their shoulder when they're switching lanes to the ability to do so. It's like, okay, so you took them from, 10% capacity to 15. That's a lot easier.
Right.
So much
Yeah.
easier. And I think you see that impact, and you feel that impact a lot more too.
Right.
The athletes are not the ones that are dying from heart disease and diabetes and things of that nature, right? Like there's not a lot of them that need that extra coddling. But
right.
in terms of,
right. And sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
So in the same sense, you take somebody doing like basic things, like your general pop doing basic things, and this is where I would see a niche too for like a sports medicine person like us, as an athletic trainer, taking an athlete who is an ability to do something, from their rehab phase to their performance phase, that little niche, that bridging the gap, that's where I see more of our ability and more of our impact.
Yeah.
You can take them into that, that speed work, that power work, et cetera, through there, but really transitioning them from, let's say, an ACL rehab where, okay, their physical therapy has cut off because the insurance company says we're good, right? And then transitioning them into their on-field activities, treating their injuries and creating them to make them more efficient, have less pain, or make them become, I guess I would say stronger, or, their patterns a little bit more efficient, are certain couple things that you can help with athletes, right? So while they're a small niche, you can broaden that aspect by the people that get hurt and making them get back to where they were before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where an athletic trainer needs to kind of see themselves, as opposed to necessarily the on-field acute injuries, first responder, which is great and all, but that's not where the money is.
True. I think that's just a big part of the name and the nuance of being an athletic trainer. It's not a good name to start with. It doesn't speak to the skill set that you have to have in order to be in the profession. And then it also just, there's no sort of posture within the industry to, look at the other domains that we cover. Like, okay, we cover, orthopedic diagnosis and injury. We cover, first responder and EMT type of things. We cover the ability to rehab somebody all the way from ground zero to return to play. And then we also have the ability to maintain and improve fitness in the off season and during the season. So you're talking about a personal trainer, you're talking about a strength and conditioning coach, to a physical therapist, to an orthopedic diagnosis and EMT.
All in one.
In one person. And
it's almost like, go ahead. Sorry.
You get yanked around, for 40 hours. Yeah, you wish 80 hours a week. When coach says practice time changes, practice time, that means work time just changed for you. You can't, you can't just up and leave 30 kids or athletes that need your assistance, because we are deemed essential, which comes into play now, which is good. But but you definitely don't get what you deserve from a financial standpoint for the education backing that you have and that you have to put yourself through as an athletic trainer.
Yeah, I think we're not a master of most things. We are really good at a lot, but we're never like, we don't. A lot of us don't hone in on one thing and become really good at it, right? I think we're spread thin, and that's fine. Like, some athletic trainers really want to focus on taking care of the teams and the athletes and the acute care. But I think that these like high schools and certain things could really benefit from somebody who's really into the acute care, on the field management, that sort of thing, and have somebody that's in the background that does the therapy, strength training, that sort of thing. If we can take this, these two niches and kind of not separate them, but make them more distinct, and show that we have more of a benefit if we're not doing so many different things, and just kind of hone in on a couple avenues, and maybe can create more business, not as a bit, or more jobs for us in the future, right? And take a less stress and burden off it, and you just have to show our value. And I think it's the biggest thing is also saying, no, I'm not going to do that, right? So that coach that says, oh yeah, 24 hours in advance, we gave you need to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday because we decided to practice because the kids weren't working hard on a Friday.
Yeah.
No, coach, not doing that. It's not, absolutely not. Or when you come out of college, don't take the $24,000 job as an athletic trainer working 40 plus hours a week. Say, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Say no.
And that's honestly the only way to impact the industry and the market enough to make something change. It's really the only way to do it. Yeah.
And I don't know if what's happening right now is necessarily a good thing for the economy, or maybe people will start to say, you know what, things could happen, and now I need more money to be able to do this. Like I don't know if it this is good or a bad thing. I have no idea how this is going to work out.
Yeah, no one knows the residuals of what's going on.
Right. I've considered my own company, because I do some athletic training coverage, as you covered for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to bump my rates, $40 an hour. If they want in, they want in. If they don't, they don't. Like, I'm going to pay my athletic trainers more too. Like, I don't want to discount my rates for my athletic trainers. I want to give them more money in the future. And I hope that other companies, such as like Premier Sports Medicine, which I worked for in the past, he's mostly out of Atlanta, but all these other like Gold Coast Physical Therapy and all these other places around there do the same thing for their athletic trainers as well when they cover per diem events.
Yeah. Is that something that you could create a group with, like a Facebook group or a text group or something, and create some awareness around that? Like, hey guys, I think this is what we need to do together collaboratively, and just overall kind of inflate our rates because of the fact that, and then collaboratively you have a backing. Now you have people all around the country. Right. Now if you do it down here and they're like, well, let's see what the rates are elsewhere, in comparison, you're all on the same page. I think that might be a good option. Yeah,
you might be right. I found it real tough to get into that per diem athletic training realm, or as part of this business. I have relationships built in the past that have come on and are still with me for the past 3 or 4 years. Yeah. But contracts are really tough to come by because of the rates that these physical therapy places are putting out there, because they're able to discount the rate or whatever it may be, because they don't pay the athletic trainer all that much money to do that.
That's the other thing, right? There's a lot of athletic trainers, and especially in my class, I know a lot of people that graduated and went to work for a physical therapy clinic, and that's it. They find themselves. I've also met a lot of people that are later in their athletic training career and they've never gotten out of it. They're like, yeah, well, maybe I'll just, I'll raise in the ranks, and then you realize that it comes with more responsibility, more time, and the pay isn't really any higher per hour for what you're putting in.
Right. Nope, it isn't. Yeah, that's the problem. It's like you got more responsibility, not even close to as much pay, right? And you get less support, right? So you speak with the doctors and stuff, and they give you as much support as they can. But once the doctor says this, this, and this, you're on your own, right? So
that's the thing too. A doctor is trying to see 35 to 40 patients a day.
Right.
5 per hour. Okay, so you get 12 minutes with each patient. and you're supposed to keep tabs on their health. How does that's where the overall expansion for me of like wanting to get out of even just personal training or just athletic training or just nutrition and just collaborate on let's get preventative and let's give the clients and the health professionals what they deserve. Health professionals don't deserve to have to run through people, just like personal trainers shouldn't have to train 12 people back to back every day just to make a living, right?
Right.
And an athletic trainer shouldn't have to cover a 30-person team by themselves.
Nope, they shouldn't. No, that's right.
How do you?
It's not fair. It's not fair to the athlete. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to anybody.
And the same thing's happening just throughout the healthcare world. Is you go to your PCP and you get what? Your lungs sound good, your ears look good. All right, send you on your way. You're okay. And if something's bothering you, it's a a prescription. Pick it up. I'll call you back in 90 days and see how it's going. It's like, all right. Let's throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Right. And speaking of throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, the athletic training, the NATA has now started to go to a master's degree. Do I necessarily think that's good? No, because number one, you're behind the PT, right? So the PT's got the doctor, and all the PTs love to call themselves doctors. Or they used to PT, DPT. Just say one, you get it, right? And a master's in athletic training is great and all. That's fantastic. Yes, okay, that means you get a lot more experience. Is it mandatory? Do I necessarily think it's mandatory? I don't. I'm conflicted because I think maybe they're trying to make themselves feel like a little bit more up the totem pole. But are you necessarily hurting the people who came before you? So like they're an athletic trainer. Oh, you get a master's in athletic training. Okay, all of a sudden, well, we'll pay you X amount of dollars to do this, and now we're going to get rid of so and so because they only have
bachelor's.
Right, correct. Now he's got 15 years of experience. We're paying him more. Let's pay you a little bit less. You're going to get a master's. I don't necessarily know if that's the greatest thing. I think what needs to do is promote what we do as a whole and how we could benefit from having more people on staff and taking care of so and so, and like maybe you need to, like, I understand revenue cost and analysis, but expense and revenue, but if you're not necessarily like these schools, they're mostly nonprofits anyways, what does it really matter if you have somebody that handles most of the physical therapy, performance type stuff, and somebody handles most of the acute care, paperwork back end stuff.
That's a good point. And I don't know that I agree with it, because now you have to get a degree in something other than athletic training for your bachelor's. So you have to do 4 years of schooling that aren't necessarily setting you up
right
to be on par for, when you get into your 5th year of school and you start your master in athletic training, where's everyone starting from? Right. And to cram everything that we learned in 4 years and everything that we talked about before, the components, the domains, into 2 years of work,
right,
that's a lot of course load, and that's a lot of memorization to get a piece of paper. Because then
I learned most of my stuff outside of college. I learned most of my stuff just working and doing it and experiencing it, being thrown into the fire and just.
With the internet, you can learn 90% of this stuff online anyways. But the other thing is now the work that they have to do as like interns, right? That's all crammed into 2 years. And they have to do more hours. So now you have someone they got their bachelor's degree. They're going to be 22, 23, 24 years old, maybe older. And now they have to complete the amount of coursework and internship hours without pay at 24 years old. Okay, so now you're asking people who are 24, they just graduated college, and they can't commit to anything else. They have to be fully engaged in school. How are they living? Where are they living? How are they paying for food and rent? And what what scenario are they coming out on the other side with? They're coming out the same way a 21-year-old came out of college. They're looking for a $48,000 a year job in a PT clinic or working for a D3 school.
Right. Yeah, because it's unacceptable. $40,000 now is unacceptable. Unacceptable for the education that we have. It's 100% unacceptable.
Well, not to mention, I paid $180,000 to get the education, and now I'm gonna get 40.
Unacceptable.
It's absurd.
Yeah. 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 I think we're pigeonholing ourselves a little bit in that aspect. Unless all of a sudden the mean salary increases, it's been for nothing.
True.
So we need to start demanding more money. We have a master's. We need to start demanding X amount of dollars more. And it needs to start now, because if it doesn't start now, these kids coming out of school we're going to lose athletic trainers. That's right. And I don't know if what we're doing is necessarily the future, and maybe
I think we're ahead of the game.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully, man. I mean, it's not a very big footprint at this point,
No.
Like the ATC Solutions logo, the footprint. It's not a big footprint. Like there's not a whole athletic trainers doing this right now. There's mostly PTs that are doing this stuff.
Well, me, you, and Jason are doing it. So.
Say what?
I said, me, you, and Jason are doing it.
Yeah, Jason is up there. I knew that he was with Brandeis, and then did he pull out of Brandeis?
He ended up leaving Brandeis. He's working with a couple of guys that I worked with the Patriots at
they all got together?
Boston sports facility.
All right, so they started their own gig.
Yeah, so Joe Van Allen, he did 18 years with the Patriots as an athletic trainer.
Probably making $70,000 at 18 years in.
Yeah,
terrible.
And that's
terrible.
So everyone, when I got that gig, everyone was like, "Dude, that's crazy! You're gonna be working. That's gonna be oh my god!" And I got there, and I was like, "This is torturous. I'm not even getting paid a dime, and I just spent 14 hours here, and it's the off season."
Professional athletes are needy. Let's just put it that way. And even the low-paid professional athletes are needy.
Yeah.
So and it's not even necessarily that the athletes are the ones that are like grabbing at this, telling you to do this. It's the brass above you saying, or the people that are like that are putting. We got here at 5 a.m. and you sat in your office for an hour. Why are you there at 5 a.m.? Oh, just because so-and-so thinks it's cool that you showed up at 5 a.m. or even 4 a.m. I like when they were doing this, I was like, you guys are sitting in your office BSing for an hour and a half. You just showed your face at 4 a.m. because it made you look good. It's perception. It's not reality.
True.
Right? And then you're there till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night during spring training when I was in baseball. I'm like, why are we here at 4 a.m.? Like, there's no point to this. I literally showed up, did nothing for an hour and a half. I just sat around the office. It didn't make, it is what it is.
It's crazy, man. It really is.
A lot of it's eyewash. A lot of it's just the perception of looking good, right?
And
I'm working so hard.
The outsiders don't know that. Yeah, like there's no.
Right. No, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They think it's cool. Oh, I saw my buddy in the dugout in the baseball game. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but you don't understand the grind of whatever it may be.
And the other thing that really bothered me is the amount of modality usage, like technology-based modality usage, where it was 80% passive modality,
right,
versus the other 20% was them doing like active recovery and rehab.
Right. Right. You don't have enough hands on deck. There's not enough hands. There's like literally not enough people to handle all the stuff that's going on, and guys slip through the cracks.
Well, the other thing is, like, if there's one place that there is, it's on a professional team, right, where there are enough hands on deck.
Right.
And like obviously,
Or
when
if you
the
can.
floodgates open before practice, there's less. But these guys are getting treatments 3-4 times a day, and at some points we have 6 machines going, and all the athletic trainers are just sitting there chatting because they're all getting passive treatment, so like I don't have to be standing there with them, you know, and like so that stuff disappointed me as well. And
Yeah, you're saying ultrasounds, E-stem, heat, ice,
yeah.
laser, ultrasound. I'm not sure why they even have that in any professional atmosphere, because it's bullshit. One, I'm gonna swear, I don't care. It's bullshit, and you can't even charge for it. So why have ultrasound there? Why even have it? I don't understand. I never understood that. Right.
Yeah, there was also a lot of disconnect between strength and conditioning and the athletic trainers. So I was treating one guy. You know, he was a defensive back, a second string D back, and he's 24. He's a year out of college. I mean, talking about peak physical performance, right? But
right.
But so overworked because he's a scout player and he's lifting just as much as all these other guys, and he's trying to make a name for himself, and no one gives a flying F who he is or how he feels on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to strength and conditioning in the weight room, and they're having him do clean and jerks, and they're having him do max deadlifts, and they're having him do all these things, and he's coming in.
Season?
What'd you say?
Oh, this is off season.
Yeah, this is off season, and he is having trouble standing up straight.
Right.
His back is so locked up. His hips completely, like, this guy's back was like knocking on a brick wall. It was absolutely insane, and there was no connection between, hey, this guy needs to not do some of the stuff that you're doing in strength and conditioning, and like this is what we're doing with him in the AT room. That connection right there was minimal, if anything. So now we're rehabbing him, and then the next day or 3 hours later, they're wrecking him.
Loading him.
Comes back.
Right, they're loading him. Right.
Yeah, and it's just constant back and forth. Where are we going to get? What are we doing here?
Right. And that's the Patriots, and that's the best organization for the past 2 decades.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff that's happening there. Yeah. And that's happening across the board. Like in baseball, you got one athletic trainer one athletic trainer and one strength coach in the minor league for minor league team. You know how many kids on a minor league team? And then there's Phantom DL too. So there's roughly 30 plus players. So we travel, could be even 35 because you got a couple pitchers in the Phantom DL working on whatever. So you're not only working with, you have one person and you have one strength coach. Luckily, I had really good relationships with my strength coaches, but there were times when it was not like that. So these kids are getting lost in the shuffle. You're wondering why they're breaking down. Their shoulders are jacked up. Their elbows are blowing out. Backs are all a mess. You know.
And the other thing too is, like, I mean, fitness is like, you know, one of the main focuses, right? Like strength and conditioning is huge for something like football, right? Like that's what they get jacked up on. But it's not necessarily smart. It's not more is better. But the understanding that baseball is much more of like a lackluster, you know, and you're not really inclined as a high school athlete who plays baseball to like work out. You're not worried about peak physical performance because you're doing what? You know, you're hitting a baseball, you're playing shortstop, or you're in the outfield, and you just got to move fast and be reactive, you know, and run 90 feet.
Yeah. Right. There's definitely the different theories and disconnects between your body with baseball, taking care of your body with football or any other sport, right? So baseball's always kind of been that, doing it when really it's just moving and loading and doing the proper things with enough volume and enough intensity that keeps these guys in peak physical condition.
Yeah.
And if you have a good strength coach, good athletic trainer, that should be symbiotic and everyone should be on the same page. But you're right, it doesn't really happen.
Very inconsistent. Very infrequently does that happen. And then
it comes to the top too.
Yeah, and then like a scenario where I was at school, we had 3 athletic trainers who were also the strength and conditioning coaches for roughly 300 athletes. What?
Doesn't make sense.
How?
Like you don't teach kids. You expect kids to learn in high school, but you don't. I mean, you don't teach them, in a class of 200 kids in high school, right? So, or 100 kids in high school. So, I expect them to retain anything, right? So.
And that's the thing too. I always look at, one of my goals down the future is down the road is to really start to attack like the education system from the perspective of like we've gotten away from these kids in general. Medical doctors know nothing about nutrition, never mind your average person. When these kids when we're in elementary school, that's stuff that should just it used to be second nature to understand a little bit about yourself and about food and about staying alive by the time you're an adult. And that's been completely lost. The ability to get rid of so many orthopedic injuries, the ability to get rid of so much, healthcare costs in the country, in society, would just be to educate people from a younger age about how to take care of themselves from an anatomy standpoint and from a biology standpoint, from nutrition and being like a little bit more physically aware. And like phys ed, playing kickball is great, but it's not teaching them anything to apply. They're not learning anything. They're not learning, at most it's like bend over and touch your toes. Okay, they're learning a terrible static stretch that is never going to have any, any reasoning behind it. And I get it can be tough to educate young kids, but there's got to be a way that we can implement that stuff into school systems at some point in the future to just diminish even to get, I had kids on my team who knew nothing about anatomy. And they would just come to me like, what's this, muscle in front of my leg? Yeah, it hurts. It's like, okay, like if you're 22 years old, and that's part of who you are, I feel like you should know what that is,
Yeah. You should. Yeah, you should. No, you should. There should be some sort of education, at least basic anatomy, or at least basic self-care, right? So, I think it's an ever-changing information about how to take care of yourself. You went from static stretching, in high school or whatever, climbing ropes, how many push-ups can you do, to now it's like an active warm-up. It's not about how many push-ups can you do, it's like how good a push-up can do. Climbing ropes, great, but what ones if Sally Joe gets hurt, right? So it's more, I think we're like, everything kind of changes, evolves, but yeah, education would be optimal.
Yeah.
Like, can it be mandatory that every kid learns a little bit about anatomy and physiology? Are they going to retain it? Probably not. But if you're an athlete, you should know.
Without a doubt.
Definitely.
But the other thing is,
know how to take care of yourself.
Like we can say that they're not going to retain it, but the moral of the story is you don't learn any. Like the way we learn is we hear things multiple times over and over again.
Right.
So if they learn it every year, by the time they're in 7th or 8th grade, it sticks.
They should.
And that's
they should
become kinesthetically aware anyways.
Right. It shouldn't just be like a one one class you take your junior high school. It should be part of your curriculum, right?
It always amazed me. I'm like, why health class? I have to take
Why is it 1 year?
I have to take health class for 1 quarter, which equates to like 60 days out of 4 years of high school.
Mm-hmm.
What good is math?
It's your body.
What good is health? What good is math class if I die from diabetes at 22? Because
you got a point. You got 100% got a point. Like you do. No, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You should know. You should be learning about it more than we are. Yeah.
But and I think that's like my foresight of like everyone has their overarching their big picture goal of like how can we change the industry or whatever that we're in. And we've talked about it for some time. We've had conversations about it. We've sat down over lunch about it. What's like the main thing that you're looking to really change or try to evolve in the next like 5 years? Assuming that no more coronavirus pandemics happen.
I think it's the understanding that you, we can take care of ourselves if we've got, not necessarily aches and pains, but just preventive measures or whatever it may be. You are in control of it yourself. You shouldn't have to jump through 4 different hoops to do it. You should be able to find somebody you trust, find somebody who knows what they're doing, and be able to handle it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a one-stop shop, but it can be a group of people that can take care of you. You don't have to go to a doctor. Doctors have to write a script. You don't have to go to physical therapy for an evaluation. Then the physical therapy clinic doesn't have to take the evaluation and ask for 25 visits or 15 visits. If you've got something wrong with you, you should be able to go to somebody. They should be able to evaluate you, treat you, and if their treatment plan isn't working, or maybe they need to go a different direction, they've got a connection or a group of individuals that can collaborate and take care of you. Yeah, you're going to pay cash.
True.
Yes. But guess what? They're not dictated and they're not run by a company that says you got to do 14 visits and you can only do X amount of minutes for therapeutic exercise and X amount of minutes for a modality and X amount of minutes for manual therapy. What was if today I deem you're too lit up, your back's all jacked up, we're just doing soft tissue work and manual therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll do 45 minutes of that, right? And it's still the same price, right? So I don't have to do therapeutic exercise with you if I don't think you need to, or maybe I don't think you need a passive modality, right? You need to move. You need to move better, right? So let's work on your movement. And it's still the same price. And I'm not dictated or I need to throw out ice and stem at the end of the day because that's how I make an extra buck, right? I think the understanding is people can pay good money to get good therapy from people who know what they're doing, and they don't have to go to the cookie cutter nonsense.
Yeah.
Doctor, therapist, this, that, and that, right? And the thing is, a doctor in the ETC or a doctor in the chiropractor and a doctor in PT, we can all work together, right? We can all come together and take care of this person, or an athletic trainer, all come together and collaborate. It doesn't have to be dictated by an insurance company that has never seen you.
Yeah, valid.
They look at a note. They've never looked at you face to face. They may talk to you over the phone because you're asking for more sessions. Yeah. But they've never evaluated, seen you. How do they know that you need 14 sessions?
Yeah. And then the other thing, right, is that you get told that you can only go to a certain number of primary care physicians or physical therapy offices. And then if you go get that, if you go to an orthopedic and you get a diagnosis, okay.
Right.
Now they're going to refer you to a physical therapist, okay. Mostly these referrals that you're getting are just people in the local area. They have nothing to do with the strength of that relationship, the understanding of what's that orthopedic doctor almost guaranteed has probably never been to that physical therapy facility. doesn't
Yeah,
know.
because mostly the physical therapy company has hired somebody as a as a independent contractor to go out to that physical therapy, that orthopedic, and try to sell
Yeah,
their
and
product.
yep.
And they might be some disconnect there too.
And then the physical therapist is done with you after 14 sessions, and
Right.
where are they sending you? And that's
Nowhere.
exactly. And
At home. Here's some bands, and you can do some band walks at home. Good luck.
and the extent of exercise in a physical therapy facility is like ankle bands, ankle weights, and
Right.
stretching platforms.
Right. And then they hire a lot of, and those physical therapists hire a lot of interns because they want to see multiple patients and go, hey, here's John. He's a DPT student at X University. Nothing wrong with that, but the care isn't there because they're not getting paid. Right? They're basically just they're trying to create revenue streams.
You did
not paying
right?
Yeah, we all did it.
And interns.
I saw it all.
Did I get 100%?
And then as an athletic trainer, you ask for more money, and then the audacity, I want like $2 more an hour, man. Just come on, let's do this. We can't do it. We can't do it because the school's not paying us. It's not about the school. What the school's paying. It's about what I do for you in the clinic.
Yeah.
And they just don't. They never saw it.
And I think that I think that goes to show also that there's a lot of room for improvement. There's a lot of room for what we want to do and what we need to essentially start to put into play. And what we are, you are putting that into play. You're doing that. You're outsourcing. You're putting athletic trainers in front of jobs. You've done that for me, so I can't thank you enough for that. You've put me in front of hours. You put me in front of time and money, and that kind of like mentorship too is hard to find. I've had a lot of I've worked with a lot of people during my internships, right? And it's very hard to find those kind of relationships. I've been lucky to have, I would say two good ones that came out of school, and then now with you and Paul, really having two people down here to like look up to, confide with, talk to, and work alongside has been huge. It's been super grateful, but it is hard to find. It's not easy.
No, I just don't think that this profession, is business oriented. It never was.
Yeah.
How many business classes did you take in college for athletic training?
No, you didn't take any.
I did. The reason I took it is I did a business minor.
No.
And I was learning how to do not marketing. I was learning to do books. So accounting.
Yeah.
That was the most boring thing on the face of the earth. It was the worst class of all time. I learned the basics of business. Did I retain any of it? No, not at all.
No. Did any of it apply to starting an LLC learning your P&L and understanding how to keep your books on a 1099 versus a W-2 versus?
I learned that on the fly.
Yeah.
I learned on the fly. I literally learned. I didn't even S corp and a C corp point. I don't know what that is. I just wanted to get the LLC, and then there's big repercussions. On your taxes. So you definitely want to do the right one. Depending on what it is. You don't.
I had zero.
I think I learned it in college, but I didn't remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Come on, man! You don't remember 10 years ago? And that goes back to the education piece, right? Most people are going to learn. They're going to take one biology class or anatomy class in high school, and then
just to get their prereq.
By the time they graduate and now they're 30 and they're like, oh, I have a kid. What's happening with this kid? Why is his skin itchy? Why is he gonna rat? What's going on? What should I feed the kid? Why am I 30 pounds heavier than I was in high school? I know I haven't been working out. I know it's not from working out. So like, they don't. Okay, now remember 10 years ago and learn what you learned in biology or health class and figure out why some of those things might happen. Not a shot. Not a shot at all.
No.
It's crazy.
No. Do you think there's too many cooks in the kitchen when it comes to this, nutrition and dieting? Do you think there's too much information out there? And
That's
do you think it should be more streamlined?
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues that we're running into with too much information is that it's this worked for me, you should try it too, right? And we come from the understanding of
We're
let's
all different.
let's diagnose what's going on, then throw stuff at it and see what's going to work. We're going to work from
Right.
the most likely solution to either adding layers to that
Mhm.
if it is working, or start with
Yeah.
one solution. If that doesn't work, move on to the next one. Whereas your uneducated people that don't come from the medical backing, which is the only bad nuance of online, personal training and nutrition coaching right now, is the fact that they're not coming from the understanding of diagnosis. They're coming from the understanding of, look what I did, you should do it too. So the N of one scenario, the N of one mindset and perspective that we have as athletic trainers and as health professionals in general, educated health professionals, it's completely gone. That I come at the perspective of, okay, let's get the questions answered. Let's ask exactly what you're dealing with, those symptoms, what may be the root causes, what's your ancestral background, what have you done in the past, and what other medical conditions do you have? What's the state of your nervous system? How do you move? Does that correlate with your digestive tract and those sorts of things? Taking that holistic approach, understanding that we can diagnose things other than symptoms, right? Like symptoms are just warning signs, but we have to understand what's really going on. What's the root cause? Because we know, shoulder pain might not be a shoulder issue, right? So it's pretty wild.
Might be your neck. You're right. So
exactly. But the uneducated health professional that's throwing out information out there on nutrition doesn't understand that and those concepts, the little nuances. So there's definitely, to answer your question, there's definitely too much information out there. There are programs that have streamlined that information that allow you to make the choices yourself. They give you the education. And that's why I've had a lot of success with helping people, is because I come from an educational background where I'm going to give you the information. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to eat, how to eat. I'm going to give you focus points, and we are going to see exactly what your biggest issue is, and we're going to tackle that first. Then we'll, prioritize the other issues and start to tackle those one at a time. Small choices, small habits, small decisions over a longer period of time is going to give you the longevity you need. But and that's why I love TLS. I love the nutrimetrics concept of, genetic testing. Well, how much more N of one can you get? It's like, I'm going to give you a genetic test. I'm going to figure out 48 plus genetic SNPs that tell me exactly how your endocrine system is working, your immune system is working, your your cardiovascular system, and your musculoskeletal system is working, so that we can figure out your sleep issues, your gut issues, your digestive tract issues, your hormonal issues, and then we can attack those all together with added support, nutraceuticals, specific diet type of guidelines, and a specific exercise routine that's actually meant for your body type. It's like, how much more N of one can you get, So,
sure.
And I think that's where things are trending, is more, we're seeing that genetic testing is worldwide available. That's pretty insane, because 10 years ago that wasn't even on the market. 20 years ago, it was just a thought.
Is it like Me and 23? Is that what's it called? The one that you can send your
23
and Me? Yeah.
But what's scary is those companies are selling out that information to Amazon, Google, and those bigger companies. So now, who has your genetic, codes? They're sharing that with what? Your insurance company? Okay, now your insurance company knows exactly who is at high risk for such and such.
Of diabetes, right? Diabetes or heart issues.
Just like a car insurance company knows that Fort Lauderdale is higher chance of injury in a car accident. Okay,
that's your insurance limit.
You're going to pay more insurance.
Right.
Oh, damn. Okay. So that's the other cool thing. We work with a privately owned lab, and the lab has no understanding of who anybody that they're taking the gene snip from is. They have a number, and that's it. The number is translated to a person that only the health professional knows.
Autonomy, complete autonomy.
Complete autonomy, which is amazing. Yeah. Hard to find nowadays for sure, but
isn't that the truth?
Yeah, for sure, man. And then that understanding of what you were talking about earlier too is like, what physician or orthopedic doctor is working alongside a registered dietitian or a licensed nutritionist that also knows a physical therapist in the area and a strength and conditioning coach or personal trainer? When's the last time you've seen a table, having lunch on a Saturday talking about their clients that consisted of an orthopedic surgeon, a dietitian, a personal trainer? It doesn't happen, but that's what we can do, and that's what we're going to continue to try to build.
You create a team for yourself, right? If you have enough disposable income, or you've got enough ability to hire an athletic trainer or somebody to take care of yourself, you should have a group of people that do it well. Like, it shouldn't just be the athlete, I guess. And then the next thing is, what's the price point that these people get in at, or how do you sell it to them and say, this is worth your while, and this could change your life.
Valid, and it could add 20 years to your life. You can't put a price tag on that.
No. That's true. Yeah.
But
that's true.
In terms of everything going on right now, is there anything like specific that you're trying to, because obviously not all your personal training clients are staying with you, and all the people that were getting sports medicine services and things, you can't do a lot of hands-on work, so some of that stuff's out the window. There's no games going on, so the athletic training per diem stuff is kind of out the window. Are there things that you're trying to just like offer and provide in terms of like, hey, if you can't do anything, focus on these couple of things, or anything of that nature, anything that people can use that might be listening at home that they can just try to focus on or stay keen with and stay up to date with?
I put together a movement screen, a dynamic movement screen of 7 movements.
Awesome.
So I put that together with a little bit of cueing, and then I'm going to send it out to my clients, just some pictures and a couple video links to some of the stuff. So it's going to be, the 7 movements, I guess I could go over them, but it might be boring. But that's what I'm doing to kind of help, to reach out to my clients. Like, do these at home, see how you do, videotape yourself. You can send it to me. I'll take a look at it, evaluate it, and send it back to you, so you know what I think, what's going on. And if you can even, do the movements, with quality and consistency. So, this is kind of something I talked about with a forum that I'm reaching out, that ATC solution. We talked about doing a movement screening or some sort of evaluation assessment tool that you can send your clients or potential clients or area gyms. So taking it and giving it to the gym that I run space out of, have, blast out to all their clients. Like, do these at home, send me your video. I'll take a look at it and we can, discuss or set up a video chat. There's no pressure.
Yeah.
You're free, just eval and we can discuss. And,
no strings attached.
Right. Just like, hey, that's what I would rather do.
Yeah.
Like quick 30-minute assessment, blast it out. Let them know that, we're thinking about them. Give them some ideas of, what they could do from there. And
also
maybe that turns into business. You never know. Like,
yeah, I think things like that.
I'm not looking at discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not looking to discount myself, but the price will be the same post that, but like I will give my time and I'll give, my expertise and my thought process and what I see.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think those sorts of things too, they just bring an awareness to what people might be lacking. So you're at home and you're like, why does my neck hurt day after day? And then they see something like that. Now they're more aware of why that might be the case, and you can provide solutions.
Right.
We should talk with Paul, because me and him yesterday were talking about 10 exercise tests that tell the story of your body, and we were thinking about writing some sort of blog, making a live video, and basically creating some content out there for people to basically test themselves, like you're talking about, and comprehensive tests that cover everything from stability to level change to upper body push and pull strength to
all the planes, dude.
Exactly.
All planes.
Transverse rotational ability, whether it's cervical spine or ankles or hips or T-spine, doesn't matter, and endurance based. So we should definitely connect with you two, and
set me up, man. Let's all do it together, man. We can set up a video. Like, that's where I don't really have the video capability. I mean, I got my phone and whatnot, but I'm not. It's tough. Oh, let me set this up on a tripod and figure this out and see if it's the right angle, and then go do it, and then that was shitty. And now I got to do it again, and then do it again. Like, I'd just rather do like one shot. Let's get it out, explain it, like, and I don't have. I guess I could use these or whatever, but you'd have Joe be like, all right, so we're in the quad bed position. Make sure you do this, this, and this, and then have one of us do it, and then we all collaborate together and create this program, and then create these videos. You throw them on YouTube. You can add it to, it's a collaboration. We need to collaborate.
There's
all we can do right now.
Yeah. Sit on the toilet and twiddle your thumbs. Or build a course for people to create some movement analysis. There's a company called Udemy that we have a partnership with as well, that is basically build like online courses. So think about like a university, a virtual university, right? Where there's professionals that are building courses around their profession, and people can essentially sign up, you pay for it, and you take a course, and it's like a college class. You're taking an online class.
Okay.
So that's another option that we could look into. I think we get, because I've looked into buying some courses, I get like 18% commissions on, like, if I were to buy a course on there, which is pretty cool in and of itself. But then, speaking of what we were talking about earlier, if we were to put a course on there, and then you have a bunch of customers that sign up for free as customers, and they go on to Udemy and then they buy your course, now they just earn 10% cash back on something that they bought from you, which generated profit for you and generated profit for other people as well. So like that's where the collaboration thing could really be huge. And there's just so many options, man, that the freaking internet has made opportunities absolutely infinite and not to be corny, but kind of limitless,
Right. No, seriously, yeah, you're right. You're right, man. passive income. That's always the objective.
Yeah.
I can stay at my home. I can make money.
Mm-hmm. And it's not passive.
Stay with my daughter and make money.
Yeah, and it's not passive because you don't have to do anything. It's passive because the income that you make is generated from work that you did previously. Not
right.
I worked for 1 hour and I'll make one payment of $100 in 2 weeks from now or at the end of that hour.
Right.
That'll be the only time I receive money for that hour of work.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Just reciprocal.
Exactly.
Keeps coming in.
Right. But let's. I think this is a really cool place to kind of wrap up. We can definitely hop on the phone tomorrow. I'll get you connected with Paul. We can.
All right. Let's do that.
And talk about talk about things like that as well. And something like this course, because it's funny too that you guys don't know each other, because I mean there's not a lot of athletic trainers out there working in the fitness.
I don't even know Joe. I don't know Joe Drake. I don't know. I never met any of you guys. I know Drake started his own place, right? He started his own.
Drake is at he's at IX3 Kickboxing. With his business partner that opened that and started Axiom Fitness Academy, which is the NASM based like personal training educational course.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's doing that. He went full bore on that. Paul's the sole owner of Gravity. But it's funny. I mean, in Boca, how many athletic trainers are there working as fitness professionals?
In a cash-based fitness, sports medicine type atmosphere, right?
Yeah. And not to mention, you're on 20th, and he's on Palmetto. It's not
right.
5
minutes away.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes my daughter. Oh, there she is.
I thought I saw her fly behind.
It's a good time to wrap up. Got to put her to bed.
There you go. Well, thank you, man. Can you tell me where to go follow you really quickly?
Say what?
Tell people where to follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me at medicine-recovery-performance on Instagram and Facebook as well.
Cool. And I'll link those. I'll link those down below, and I'll let you know when all this is done and edited and linked, man.
Awesome, brother. Have a good night.
Sounds good.
We'll talk to you manana.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Mike. Peace out.
All right, bud.
As always, be limitless.
What's up, LT Tribe? DFOS here, just to express my gratitude and say thank you for tuning in and continuously commenting, liking, sharing, and subscribing to the episodes and the content that we are bringing you. It is helping so much. Once again, I want to say thank you and hope you have a great rest of your day. My goal with this LT360 podcast is not only to bring you the best guests, stories, and lessons, but also the best products and services that span all markets and industries that will allow you to create a limitless lifestyle day in and day out. So listen in for these amazing deals.
What's up, Limitless Theory Tribe? Hope you enjoyed the episode. I wanted to take a second to give you an opportunity to save 10% off on anything in the Limitless Theory apparel store. Everything from beach towels to coffee mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and tank tops, and much more. New styles rolling out all the time. Use code LT10 at checkout for 10% off. LT10 at checkout, all capitalized, for 10% off anything Limitless Theory apparel related. And all you have to do is take a picture and tag us so that you can get 10% off again next time. If you're anything like me, you've learned that when you connect great people and great food, the opportunities are absolutely limitless. Well, we aren't the only ones. Rastelli's Meat Market, a nationally and internationally recognized company as an industry leader in food safety and food quality, is bringing you all of your animal proteins straight to your door. With more than 40 years of experience, they have been seeking out farming and fishing families that span generations, with a deep-rooted passion for their craft and a proven history of caring for their animals and the environment that they grow up in. They're delivering all of your animal proteins straight to your door in a vacuum-sealed packaging that can stay frozen for up to a year. I mean, the opportunities here with this are limitless. They have everything from antibiotic-free steaks and burgers, chicken and pork, to filet mignon, lobster, wild-caught shrimp, antibiotic-free ribeyes and salmon and tuna. You name it, they have it. They also have frozen meals. And the best part, people, is you can earn up to 27.5% IBV commissions for buying your dinner for you and your family on a monthly basis, okay? If you are on auto ship with Rastelli's on a monthly basis, you can earn 27.5% commissions on anything you may order. If you want to just do a one-time purchase, you can earn 22%. What an amazing deal. What a time to be alive. You can get paid for the very food that is on your plate, and you can do so with peace of mind because you know it is very, very high quality. Rastelli's Meat Market does not lack on quality at all. One of the newest partners with Shop.com. So make sure to go to shop.com/Limitless Theory and search Rastelli's, Rastellis, and earn 27.5% or 22% on your next dinner meal. All right? Check it out. I know you won't be disappointed.